Is that how they, I can't, oh Lord. Oh Lord. Hello humans, what is going on? So glad to see you, it's been a while. This is Plot Twist Please. I have been so bad at uploading videos and I'm so sorry, but I promise I'll be more consistent going forward. I'm going to try to do 2 videos a week, and one of those videos will be a podcast episode every other week. So I'm back on it now. Don't worry, we're back, okay? Today I wanted to talk about dating. So a lot of people watched Malcolm and wow. A lot of people watched Malcolm and Marie, including myself. I'm not going to go into a movie review. What I'm actually going to talk about is dating and trauma, and how a lot of people with unresolved trauma enter dating, and a lot of people who are trying to address their trauma enter dating from a place of lacking. And by that I mean they might be afraid of dating. They might perceive relationships as dangerous or as threatening. And honestly, I am one of those people. I'm one of those people who was like, dating is scary. I don't want to do it. Why would I want to do that? To get hurt or potentially taken advantage of or cheated on, etc. And I want to try and help alleviate some of that anxiety, especially if you're a neurodivergent person. I'm autistic, so it's complicated. And there's a lot of trauma associated with relationships when you are autistic. Typically, if you're neurodivergent, period, like you are going to have trauma in your life that is associated with relationships, whether romantic or platonic. So I just wanted to help alleviate some of that tension and stress by offering a few tools that I personally use when I go about dating. Right now, the only way to really date is online, so it's specifically catered to that environment. In this case, I want to cater to the people who are seeking relationships or seeking companionship. The apps are better for me because people can be more clear about what they want, and they can just tell me in words, and I can ask them in words, and it doesn't have to be about the vibe or the way that someone is saying something, because through text you have to be really specific and intentional. Even though I don't prefer text or messaging, I prefer calling or FaceTiming, video chatting, but in the sense of getting to know someone, you can go right away to what they want, what kind of relationship they're looking for at the current moment, or if they're even looking for a relationship. So that's something that I like about it, is that it provides space for those kinds of conversations to happen really quickly, which is my jam. I like to know what I'm getting into. In that vein, here is the first tip I will offer you. Utilize and expect clear communication. For me, that means not only knowing what I want in my head, being able to communicate that to someone in a way that would make sense to them. What I typically like to say if I'm looking for a relationship, which I am seeking a relationship, that's something that I'm open to. What I will typically say is, I'm actually looking for something more substantial. I'm hoping to find a genuine connection on this app. Something to clearly communicate, I'm looking for a genuine connection. It means I'm trying to work toward a relationship, and that sifts out the people who aren't going to be for me. So try that. Second tip I would offer you is not to overshare too quickly. I have a tendency, because I'm autistic, to overshare. I don't necessarily have that filter of, oh, they don't need to know that. I don't necessarily have that. So what I find to be really useful is being able to discern based on how they reveal themselves to me. So like if I'm the autistic person and the other person is, I'm assuming, not autistic. You don't know, especially when you first meet someone, but my assumption is typically that this person is neurotypical. So what I will often do is I will mirror. So if that person talks about their family, I talk about my family. It's tricky too, because then it becomes almost like a game of, does it mean that you have the power in this scenario? Does it mean they have the power? You know, does it mean that you are choosing, or are you letting yourself be chosen? It's complicated. The third thing that I've learned is to really pay attention to the signals that let you know whether or not someone values you or how much they value you. So one would think that this comes later in the dating stages, but I actually think that this comes into play really early on. You know, you can tell immediately how someone feels about you. No, they may not be sure whether they want to date you, but you can tell how they treat people or how they treat, in my case, how they treat women. I dated a guy for a really short time. I immediately could tell that he came from like a caretaker mentality. Not in like the toxic, anemic way, but in the positive way. Like it was during the summertime. So we had lunch like on this open field at a park, and he brought like the blankets, and he brought his laptop, and we were gonna watch a movie, and we had the blanket, and he like kept making sure that I was covered by the blanket, like that my feet weren't cold. And he like kept doing that, like he kept making sure that I was like fully covered by the blanket, and like little things like that let you know this person cares about if you're comfortable, this person cares about how you feel, you know, what you're thinking. Sometimes if they don't ask you questions ever, then they obviously don't care about what you're thinking. The fourth thing that I've learned is the goal should not be to find your person. The goal should be to understand what kind of person you want to be with, to get closer to that. And in some respects, to understand more of who you are and what your values are. So I think people get really disheartened when things don't work out, and they get really discouraged. And disappointment is normal. It's a normal emotion to have. There's nothing wrong with feeling disappointment. There's nothing wrong with feeling anxiety about dating, because it can be scary. Frame it in a way so that it's coming from a place of abundance, not from a place of lacking. We should seek growth in the process rather than that end result. All of this, 9 times out of 10 will not pan out, but that it'll get you that much closer to that end goal, if that is what you want. I really hope that if you took anything from this video, that you understand that dating isn't something to be afraid of, especially for the neurodivergent people out there. I feel you. For the people who have been through trauma, I understand. But it's not this war zone. Stay weird and stay chill. Bye. Mwah.